And hi, everybody. Welcome to the OU Postseason Preview Show. Toby Rowland with you alongside Gabe Eichert and Teddy Lehman. And we got playoff football to talk about. Oklahoma and Alabama coming up on Friday night on Owen Field. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be sitting down with the head coach, Brent Venables, here in just a few minutes as well. Guys, how about this? Is this going to be fun or what?
I hope so. It better be fun.
It feels good. I know that. It feels good. In all seriousness, you go back to this time a year ago.
Yeah.
Right after that Armed Forces Bowl.
That was not fun.
We weren't feeling very good there, bud.
Come a long way.
We just the amount of progress, just the overall vibe around this program, just thinking about how much it has changed over the last 365 days, it's fantastic. And everyone has had a hand in it. The players, the coaches, this new front office led by Jim Nagy, and of course the fans. So it is, I'm just so happy that we're going to get some meaningful football in the month of December in Norman, Oklahoma. Are you kidding me? Let's go, T-Row.
Let's just think about that for a second. When we look at all-time electric atmospheres on Owen Field, we're talking about a primetime playoff game against Alabama, Ted. This may rank right at the very top.
I'd be shocked if by the time it's done that it doesn't rank at the top. And you know, going back to whenever the 12-team playoff was announced and, you know, going to play the first round as home sites, then all the daydreaming started, right? Like, we want to host a game. Who would you prefer it be? Well, it's Alabama. I know we already played them, but you're hosting a playoff game. It's only the second year it's happened on campus, and you got a blue blood coming to town.
And that's the thing. Along with Georgia and what Kirby Smart has done there, like Alabama has been the standard in college football for, 20 years now, It feels like.
Close to it. And
that's what, this is such a fantastic opportunity for the Sooners. And the best part about it is we know we can beat them. We already did. We went to Tuscaloosa and beat this team, and they're not, from a health standpoint, the same team they were then. So it's a huge helmet matchup. Blue Bud on Blue Bud, and it feels very winnable.
Yeah.
And you're at home. Like, there's nothing else you could ask for as an Oklahoma coach, player, or fan.
It is losable, too. It is Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that first game and what may be different here. We're going to break this down. We're going to go kind of position group by position group here in a bit. But, Teddy, what's different than the first time around these two teams met? It was just over a month ago. It wasn't that long ago.
It's a good question. You know, I think a lot of the things kind of stay the same. Alabama offensively is going to do the same stuff they've done and had success with all year. They want to push the ball down the field. They want to work the middle of the field with those deep in-breaking routes. They've struggled running the football all year. That doesn't mean that they're going to completely avoid it. They're going to try and find some ways to run the ball. If you're viewing it from Alabama's perspective, take care of the football, right? Special teams. The field position battle was absolutely owned by Oklahoma. What was it, plus 22 per possession? I mean, that is a massive number. So I imagine they're looking at it and saying, hey, if we take care of the football, we're better on special teams. We got a chance to go win this football game. So, you know, I don't know. I expect the game to unfold very similar to the way that it did at Tuscaloosa, but this is college football. There's so many variables. There's no telling what's going to happen out there. As soon as you think you got it figured out, you see another, crazy game. But I think just kind of X's and O's strategy-wise, I think both teams are probably going to have a similar formula to what they had going into the first matchup.
Quick answer.
I feel like both teams' issues in that game have only become more of an issue.
Yeah.
Alabama had O-line issues, still can't run the ball.
Yeah.
OU's offense wasn't stellar in that game, hasn't been super efficient. Seems like it's deteriorated a little more through the end of the season. So whoever can fix those issues over this break leading into the game is going to feel really good about winning the game.
OU hoping they'll get maybe our Mason Thomas back. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. When we come back, a deeper dive into the Oklahoma offense as they get set for Alabama in the college football playoff. Stay with us.
Football with Brent Venables is brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties. Fan-fueled, athlete-focused. Jana King, the king of clean.
Welcome back to the OU postseason preview show. Toby, Teddy, and Gabe with you. We're talking OU offense here. This segment brought to you by Jana King. Jana King is the king of clean. You got to start with John Mateer. He's had an up and down season. Gabe, we'll start with you. What is your word for the OU quarterback going into this game? Like, what do you want to see him do in this football game?
Efficiency.
Okay.
And you hear that word a lot with this team. You hear Brent Venables use that word a lot. And it's more of decision making, being efficient, being intelligent with your decision making in this game. We've got a formula that is proven to win games. Mm-hmm. Take care of the football offensively. Don't make the critical mistakes. Lean on the defense. Lean on special teams. That has led to 10 wins for this team. So I expect John Mateer to clean up some of the decisions, some of the poor decisions that he's made down the stretch. We saw a couple of them against LSU. Mm-hmm. And it has to do, it's the RPO game, it's the read run game. He needs to see things clearly, be decisive and confident with the football, but he's got to make good decisions, Ted. That's the bottom line for me is we know how talented he is. Mm-hmm. If he makes the good decisions, if the ball goes where it's supposed to go in the read run game and in the passing game, I feel great about it. He's just got to see things clearly and be decisive.
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of that. You know, for me, I want him to be smart and I want him to be efficient, but I also want him to not be scared to be a playmaker. That doesn't mean just throw the ball into traffic and be careless with the football, but, you know, I would imagine that his health has got to be at the best it's been right now, you know, since he missed time with the surgery. So I'm okay with some calculated risk. If they're there, if a play is to be made, make a throw, push it down the field. Don't be careless with the ball, but, you know, just because we know what our formula is and taking care of the football doesn't mean you have to be gun shy. There's a big difference between taking care of the football and being scared to mess up, and I don't want him playing scared.
I could not agree more. And I think the number one way I would like to see him be more aggressive, and this is something we saw against Missouri, we saw against LSU, when Isaiah Satania or Deion Burks have one-on-ones, throw him the ball.
Yeah.
Throw him the ball. Even if they don't have two steps on a guy, when our best playmakers have one-on-one matchups, when teams play man-to-man, and we'll see how much of that Alabama does that. They played a bunch of zone in the first matchup, but when 4 and 5 have one-on-ones, Mateer has to recognize that, and the ball's got to go their way. And those guys got to go make plays. And you see it all over the country. The big-time players, when they have one-on-ones, they go and get the football. But John Mateer has to give them a chance, T-Row, to go make those plays.
One thing Oklahoma didn't have in Tuscaloosa was a healthy running game. Xavier Robinson ran the ball really well against Ole Miss and Tennessee. He got banged up in that Tennessee game. I don't know if he's going to be back healthy again, but they've had some time here to heal up. We got about 60 seconds here. Boy, if they could have a healthy running game that looked like it did against Ole Miss and Tennessee in these playoffs, that would be a world of good.
You would imagine that Xavier and Torrey Blaylock are going to be healthier.
Got to be better. Right?
I think the break will do those guys a lot of good. And the first matchup, we played, for my liking, we played in a phone booth a little too much with that Alabama team. Mm-hmm. Some of the things where we spread them out, made the defense move a little bit, I think was our best stuff. I hope we see more of that. And then, of course, John Mateer is a weapon with his legs. You get to some of that plus run game. I mean, it's the playoffs, Ted. You gotta, you're not leaving anything out of this game plan.
No, I don't know how healthy Xavier Robinson is, but you got to feel like he's better, Blaylock's better. it's about the healthiest we've been all season.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you look at it, there's constantly been someone in or out or not feeling good. So no excuses.
I think we all agree. Get the ball to Isaiah Satania as much as possible.
4 and 5.
Every possible
Throw it to
way.
4 and 5.
Get the ball
and
to
12.
Isaiah Satania.
Find 12.
We're talking about OU's defense when we come back. It's the OU postseason preview. Stay with us.
Sooner Football with Brent Venables is brought to you by OU Fan Shop. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy. Jenna King, the king of clean.
All right, welcome back to the Sooner Football postseason preview show. Our interview with Brent Venables coming up here in just a few minutes. Let's talk OU defense now. This segment brought to you by the Riverwind Casino. Always a good time. All right, you give Brent Venables a second time to prepare for a team, Teddy. I like his chances.
Yeah.
He prepared pretty well for him the first time around.
He is unbelievable at sifting through everything that anyone's done. You can go back, he'll go back 5 years. He'll go back to, you know, a big game that someone coached, you know, in the postseason. Like he goes through everything, and he just has this knack of knowing what they're going to do. They've done this. They did this previously. I don't think they're going to do that against us. I think they'll try this instead. So I would imagine that he's going to have a really good idea of what he expects from them. I don't know what it is, but he'll have them prepared for that. And I'm with you. Like, a little extra time to prepare. You know, that's one of the things that I really like about this matchup compared to, say, if it was going to be Notre Dame or Miami. Alabama's had to lay it on the line in these games. They don't have any more cards up their sleeves. They've been in a ton of critical situations, big third downs, end of game, end of half, and they've had to show what they truly believe is their best stuff whenever they have to have something, and I just think that's fuel for Venables.
Alabama's had a hard time running the football. I don't want to write that off. They got to stop the run, Gabe, but it feels like this game comes down to Ty Simpson, at least as far as Alabama's concerned, right? Oklahoma's got to stop him.
We'll see what Jam Miller's status is for this game. Daniel Hill, their big back, he looks banged up to me. He struggled in that Georgia game, in the SEC championship game. They played a guy, A.K. Deer, in the SEC championship game that, frankly, the moment looked a little too big for him. So their running back situation is not ideal, but really the issue for them, in my opinion, offensively, is the offensive line. I don't think that group is playing at a very high level coming into this game. Now, Cam Dewberry, their starting left guard, missed the SEC championship game. Parker Brailsford, their center, who is a fantastic player. It's clear to me he's not close to 100%, and he got hurt against us in that first matchup. He's dealing with a lower leg injury. They got some issues, man, and I don't think the issues they have coming into this game, it doesn't seem like the run game is going to get solved. They tried to run Ty Simpson a little bit in the SEC championship game, and it did not go well for them. So it does feel like it's all going to come down to Ty Simpson playing from the pocket and trying to find that those couple of elite wide receivers they've got.
They still have Jeremy Bernard. They still have Ryan Williams.
And Ryan
Lottie
Williams,
Brooks. They got a lot of dangerous guys.
Ryan Williams, in the first half of the SEC championship game, started to kind of look like the guy that we were expecting to see for them this season. He had some moments where you're just like, dang, he looks like the fastest man alive. But he has not been a consistent player for them this season. One of the key guys that I think they think they're going to get him back is Josh Cuevas.
Yeah.
And we remember that first matchup. We had a Cuevas problem early.
We did.
That's right.
So it'll be interesting to see what the lineup looks like for Alabama offensively, but they are limping in coming into this game.
About 60 seconds. The importance of R. Mason Thomas playing in this game, or not?
Well, it'd be great to get him back, and we'll see what his status is. You know, it's been a slow progression for him, and they've been able to be smart with it and not really force him back. You know, I don't know what to expect. I think it could be anywhere from maybe tries to give it a go and can't get it done, plays some spot duty here and there, some third downs, kind of comes in as more of a rush specialist, to, hey, he's full go, he's ready, he's back, he's healthy, he's going to play a big snap count for us. I don't know, but, you know, we've proven, what a rush. I mean, that's just beautiful stuff. We've proven that we can get it done without him, right? We went to Tuscaloosa, but, you know, we've had to shorten up those rotations. It's just simple. We're a better football team when our Mason Thomas is out there, you know, but if he's not 100%, you know, I don't know where that line is to where he's not making us better. We're just putting him at risk, and maybe it would be better to have someone healthy out there. I just don't know. I hope he's healthy, though.
I do, too. We'll take a look at the Alabama offense when we come back. We're getting you set for a college football playoff game on Owen Field. Stay with us.
Sooner Football with Brent Venables is brought to you by Taco Mayo. Tap the app and save up to 25% today. Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics. We'd like to thank our OU community outreach partners, Fowler Auto Group, OU Health, OG&E, and Coca-Cola. The University of Oklahoma Athletics. One with you.
Sooners and the Crimson Tide coming up Friday night on Owen Field in the college football playoff. We're coming out of our skin with excitement for this football game, and hopefully there's another one in Pasadena after that. There will be for the winner of this one. This segment brought to you by Taco Mayo. Tap the app and save 25% today. Let's talk about the Alabama offense. This is a banged-up group. They're very good. It seems like they have tapered off, Ted, as the season has gone along here because they are banged up. They haven't been able to run the football. -3 rushing yards against Georgia in the SEC championship game. But that's Georgia, and they're really good. But you look at those wide receivers, and we talked about it last segment, you still got to respect how dangerous they could be. I mean, one play over the top and bang.
Well, and I think that that's really kind of at the core of what's happened down the stretch to Alabama. You know, when a lot of people zig, Coach Venables zags, and we went into that game, most people that have played them up to that point, they're scared of giving up the deep ball, right? They're scared of those receivers and how Alabama pushes it down the field. So they were reluctant to really pressure Alabama at a high rate. Venables went after him, and we were all over him in the pocket, all over Ty Simpson, tons of pressures, tons of sacks, and that opened up a can of worms for him. We saw what Georgia did, same type of game plan. It's like, oh, they struggle in protection. Their backs struggle really bad in protection. Let's come after them a little bit, and it's kind of changed the dynamic on them. Defenses have gone on the attack instead of sitting back and trying to keep guys over the top of the dangerous wide receiver group. They're just coming after them and making Ty Simpson have to read, decipher, try and figure out where the protection is going to be, where the blitz is coming from, what the coverage on the back end is, create some chaos for him, and their offense has really struggled as a result.
I thought that Georgia did a fantastic job defending them in the SEC championship game, but goal number one has to remain the same for OU's defense in this game. It's all about making them one-dimensional. And they have not run it well. I don't expect them to run it well, no matter who they have at running back for this game. But that's the key, and that's what Georgia did at such a high level.
Can't be the story of the night that Alabama suddenly found the running game.
Yeah. Exactly, because Georgia made them abandon it.
Yep.
I mean, their running backs had like 10 carries in the game. They had -3 rushing yards in the SEC championship game against that Georgia defense. I mean, Georgia just completely manhandled them when they tried to run the football. That has to remain the case for OU's defense, and that's one of the things that I thought Georgia did at a higher level than we did in the first matchup is take away the throws in the middle of the field, Ted. I thought that those deep digs, some of the stuff that they do with the over route stuff for Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams, I thought that Georgia did a great job of making the middle of the field feel crowded when they played zone. And then when they dialed up the heat, they did a great job of disguising where it was coming from and then dropping guys out in coverage, which is very similar to what we did in that first matchup. But shut down the run and then try to confuse Ty Simpson. You could see it in that SEC championship game. There were some things where he's dropping back and the eyes that head's turning a little more than you saw from him earlier in the season. And he's back there getting hit a lot. And that clock, it feels like, is sped up.
Has a cumulative effect, there's no doubt.
There's no doubt.
This could be where the biggest difference between the first game and this game takes place. This game's in Norman. And
is it?
The crowd is going to be
Oh my gosh!
Hey, smart aleck. Let me
I'm
finish
so
my thought.
excited, dude.
The crowd is going to be in a roar when the Oklahoma defense is on the field and hopefully bothering the Alabama offense, and maybe it'll exacerbate the issues for Ty Simpson.
I imagine it will. It's going to be hopping in there. And, you know, the run, like you mentioned the run, I don't even mind if they hit a couple of chunks. That doesn't bother me. The key is 3rd and 7 or more.
Yep.
That's whenever you can really unleash all of your creative plays on defense. So if we can get, and that's when the crowd gets the loudest too. So that's where it's going to be the most fun.
Interview with Brent Venables right around the corner. When we come back, though, we focus on the Alabama defense. This is the OU Postseason Preview Show. Stay with us.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free.
OU and Bama coming up on Friday night, primetime college football playoff on Owen Field. Let's talk about the Alabama defense. Georgia had some success, pretty good success against them in the SEC championship game. Why, Gabe, and can Oklahoma replicate that?
I think we can. And it's not like Georgia just went up and down the field on them and ripped off a bunch of explosive plays. Their longest play of the SEC championship game was 19 yards. So it's not like they were running by him or anything. I just thought that Mike Bobo called a very intelligent game. He attacked the weak points of Alabama's defense, and that's out on the perimeter. Run game, screen game. Now, he's got some special playmakers with Dylan Bell and Zachariah Branch, but there are two areas that I believe Alabama is most vulnerable, and that's on the perimeter, whether it's the speed sweep, bubble screen, swing screens type stuff, and then in the intermediate passing game in the middle of the field. And Georgia attacked both of those areas over and over and over again. And it was clear. Me and Mike Bobo were on the same page, apparently, and I thought that they were clearly the more physical team. Also, that was something that stood out to me when I watched the tape. That's what OU has to do. You have to attack those weak areas, the perimeter, the edge of Alabama's defense, and then the middle of the field in the passing game. And then you got to be the more physical team. If you do that, I feel really good about how this game's going to go for OU's offense.
This is typical. We're in the 5th segment of the show, and this is the first time we're mentioning special teams. And yet, Ted, you could argue that in the first matchup between Oklahoma and Alabama, it absolutely decided that game. The Sooners dominated special teams, and they need to do it again on Friday night.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Field position is critical and is going to be in this one again. You see Satania here. He's been a huge weapon in the punt return game. I'm waiting for him to break one and take it all the way. He's been close a bunch of times. You know, we pinned him deep. You know, here's one where we punched the ball out. This was a massive play. We got points off
I'm told this was a muffed punt, Ted, and we didn't. Remember, this was luck.
We
didn't earn this. It was luck.
Well, Mateer earned a touchdown after it, no matter what happened. Grayson Miller on that final drive put it inside the 10-yard line. You tip this field goal right here. They miss it. They're all arguing, cursing each other out as they jog off the field. Huge momentum going into halftime. It's been a huge weapon for us, and it's been a problem for Alabama. Not just that game. They got the punt blocked against Georgia. It's been an issue that's recurred for them quite a bit.
That was, if you were watching the SEC championship game, that was a pretty even game until the punt got blocked.
Yep.
And then then the avalanche came, the Georgia avalanche came down on Alabama after that moment. It completely flipped that game. With how good we've been on special teams, that has to be an advantage for us in this game, and I think it will be.
In a low-scoring field position game, which I think we all believe this is going to be, special teams almost certainly will decide this thing. All right, maybe 30-second final thought from each of you. We're going to have Coach Venables next, but Ted, how does Oklahoma win this football game?
They play their game. They force Alabama into their game. We have been the most physical team on the field during this stretch in November. We have to continue that. Take the fight to them. Don't turn it over. Force them on defense or luck into them, I guess, as people would say. Win special teams. And someone, I don't know who, is going to have to make a special play here and there, right? Whether it's a punt return like we were just talking about, or Mason Thomas coming back and a sack fumble. There's going to be a handful of plays if we win this thing that we're going to be able to go back and circle and say that was the moment.
Explosive plays. I think that's the key for OU's defense. I don't think Alabama can march the ball down the field against our defense, 10, 12, 14 plays. If they're going to have success offensively with how much they've struggled to run it, it's going to be with explosive plays to Bernard and Williams, maybe Cuevas. If you can prevent those, I feel like it's going to be a really nice day for us defensively. And then offensively, we just need a couple. We've seen it. And we talked about it earlier. 4 and 5. Get those dudes the ball. Those are your explosive play guys.
All right, I'm going to go put on a jacket and sit down with the head coach. Stay with us, folks. The OU preseason preview continues. We're getting you set for Oklahoma and Alabama in the college football playoff. Next. All right, welcome back to our OU postseason preview. I'm sitting down now with the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, Brent Venables, as we get set for Oklahoma and Alabama in the college football playoff. Coach, first off, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
This is an accomplishment that should not be taken for granted.
Yeah, no, we're excited, certainly not satisfied, but very, I have a great appreciation for our players and the staff and the sacrifice and the determination that they've had to make this a great year so far.
I don't want to say time off is the wrong way to say it because you guys have been practicing and preparing, but the time off from playing games, has it been good for you guys as far as trying to heal up and get ready for
Oh, no question. It's good for anybody that's still playing right now. It's a long, challenging season, and so there's the physical strain that you go through and even the mental strain and kind of a reset opportunity to what's in front of us right now. So our guys are excited, and coaches, players alike.
What did you do well the first time against Alabama that you need to repeat this time around?
Well, we won. We figured out, again, how to win. Yeah. It kind of goes without saying. And I thought we were really physical. Thought with the field position battle, that really all three phases, play a part in that. I thought that we controlled the field position, and we were outstanding in the special teams. Obviously, the most important factor is the turnovers, and won the turnover margin 3-0. So we took care of the ball on offense. Neither team was fantastic rushing the football, both just under 100 yards. We were a little more efficient at running the ball, better yards per carry. And, when we did force the turnovers, we were able to turn it into points. And so, I thought the field goal kicker, Tate Sandell, was fantastic, and Grayson Miller was really, really good. We had a great return. We blocked a kick, and we forced a turnover on a punt team as well. So really outstanding that way. First half a little leaky in some of the coverages. And they're a really good football team, with really good staff and players, a great roster, excellent quarterback, elite skill. And so they had some success in the first half. But I thought overall, top to bottom, we were able to play, good defense in the first half. Not ever as good as you want. And then the second half, outside of really one drive, really played well, particularly on defense, and again, still the kicking game. And I thought we played conservative on offense and didn't expose ourselves. That was going into the game. Alabama defensively, one of the best units in college football, as we know, and number one in the SEC in forced turnovers. And so not putting the ball and themselves in harm's way was really important. And I thought we protected the quarterback well. We gave up 2 sacks, but neither one of them were on the offensive line. And so we really did a nice job from that standpoint. But we were not explosive and didn't create any big plays offensively. And so, what the focus is tightening things up from a coverage standpoint, being better situationally in all 3 phases, and then improving offensively, and trying to make the defense work, and hopefully again for us be a little more productive offensively, and not be as reliant on the short fields and the turnovers and things of that nature. If those things happen, fantastic. And but you can't just count on the turnovers. You can count on being on the right side of the margin and not giving the ball back. That's completely up to us. And so really worked hard at ball security over the last several days, and a lot of the basic fundamentals. The basics are what win for you, always has and always will be. And so the schemes are they play a part, but nothing can substitute for fantastic fundamentals, being really good in these areas. And then when the margin has been small for us all year long, the playoffs, it'll be magnified. How much more, who knows, but it will be magnified even more so.
Before we talk about personnel, I want to ask you about just the idea of a rematch. This happens in other sports all the time, but it doesn't happen in college football very often at all. I would imagine it presents some unique challenges. They're going to make adjustments. You're trying to guess what they're going to be. You're going to make adjustments. They're trying to guess what those are going to be. What are the unique challenges in planning for a rematch against a team?
Yeah, and you don't know what their adjustments are, so you really don't want to spend a whole lot of time worrying about that as much as you do yourself. Where were you not good? Why were you not good? What can we do different? How do we need to help it? Again, whether that's a different scheme, or that's the fundamentals, or just a little better teaching, the execution piece of it. The physicality is incredibly important. That's what helps you win, but this is a game of execution too. And so we need to execute better. It seems very simple, and it's easier said than done, but being more precise in what we're doing is really important. I think mentally, I think it's important that, that's a space that you want to go into the game and, having the, the mindset of, who wants it more. I think that's a real thing. And, if you want it more, if you're more obsessed, then you're going to do a little more than maybe what's required, and have a fantastic, week of work in every area, taking care of your body, doing, the little extras that you always want to do, and be about the things that are going to make the difference in the game. And, again, for us, I think it's been since 1893 since Alabama's lost to the same team in the same season, and twice. So that's over 100 years.
It's a long time.
Whatever, 125 years or so, and that's a long time. And our team has really responded to a lot of challenges this year. This hurdle, or this milestone, or this never been done, things of that nature. So when I told our guys that, it got quiet fast, and so they're excited for the challenge and recognize the enormity of it.
We got more with Coach Venables. Stay with us. You're watching the OU Postseason Preview. All right, welcome back. Chatting with Brent Venables ahead of the OU Alabama showdown in the college football playoff. This is the OU Postseason Preview.
As you get ready for Alabama and their offense, obviously it starts with their quarterback, Ty Simpson. You saw a whole lot of him in Tuscaloosa. Boy, he's an outstanding football player.
No doubt. And great player, excellent skill set. He's got a live arm, great accuracy. There was a time, starting with Georgia early in the year where they really got after Georgia, and he was in this excellent rhythm for a good part of the year. Got great players around him, offensive line. They're all five-star kind of guys. They're big, they're massive, they can move. Their pass protection, their athletic ability on screens, and a lot of their perimeter screens that they get out on it. It's really something to see. And the explosiveness of their playmakers at receiver. Sure. It's frightening. As you're in this call, you're in that call. Where you're looking at matchups and things of that nature, and how you want to protect yourself from explosive plays and things. They present a lot of problems.
Yeah, when they run in Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams and Lottie Brooks out there, you could have them for 4, 5, 10 good plays, and then bam, just like that. Big play.
No doubt. And then, it's not even talking about the backs they have, or certainly, their coaching staff. They're building. These are championship, elite level coaches that know what they're doing and are going to have answers for what you're doing.
What will your message be to John Mateer and what you would like to see from him in this game?
Be who you are, and I think continue to do a lot of the things that we've done when we've been successful this year. Be confident in the most pressure-filled moments that you're prepared for. We've done it a lot, where everybody has a part, everybody has a role. So be prepared for that. We're going to need you to be at your best when it's required, but nobody's going to play perfect, and we don't need to. We've proven that all year. But I asked the players this morning, when are we going to play our best 4 quarters of football? And when we do, look out. But I just don't want to sound like a broken record. And there he goes saying that again. Why not now? And why not right now? And this is when we need to. And to get in this great rhythm, the last, 4 weeks of the season. As you look at it, I think it's important that we have vision for what's in front of us and the opportunity. These opportunities just don't happen every year. And what we've been able to position ourselves for is pretty unique. And at the end of the day, it does take what it takes. And so just play your role, John. You are a leader. People are going to follow you. Your confidence, your toughness, your preparedness, your readiness. I think that's who he's been. Trust the people around you. Trust the call. Trust your talent and ability. Trust the other 2 units that you're aligned with as well.
People thought you guys were dead about a month and a half ago.
Yeah. Where were you on that?
I believed in you the whole way.
Fantastic.
Coach. Absolutely.
I knew you would.
Yeah. The Hard to Kill T-shirts came out on the Tennessee trip, and here you are. And yet still, the public opinion is that you're not among the favorites to win it. Yeah. Are you guys motivated by that? The public opinion and the pundits out there?
Who doesn't, guys like that, when somebody says there's no way you can do X, oh, that was great and all, but hey, just be happy to be, invited. And that's not the mindset of this team. And just like it was, and again, 6 weeks ago after the Ole Miss loss, and go 4-0. Oklahoma has a 98% chance of making the playoffs. And the small fine print that I didn't read at the time was chances of going 4-0 was 2.2%. And but I've told the team that now, and so don't put limits on yourself. Don't allow other people that haven't controlled the narrative inside this locker room put limits on you either. And just like we've been saying for several months, when we put it together, we have everything we need to beat anybody in the country. And you also, if you don't do X, Y, Z right, you can lose to, a lot of the teams that we've beaten. So have respect for what it takes. Don't lose, again, that respect for winning. But I think the edge for this football team is the hunger and the humility that they've possessed. They've chosen to possess that the whole season.
This piece of real estate right out here is one of the most historic in all of college football. There's been a lot of famous things that have happened on Owen Field over the last 100 years. We've never seen anything like this. How excited are you to see a night game college football playoff atmosphere, Sooner fans, and everything that's going to go into Friday night?
Yeah, the thing that I have this is you're busy, focused on the things that you can control, you know, a byproduct of a lot of hard work and a lot of passion and energy and sacrifice that our fan base makes too, is a really cool moment for them to be able to share, you know, together, the pride that the players and the staff have been a part of helping, you know, whatever degree it is, to restore that, to allow so many people that love Oklahoma, that love everything OU DNA, for them to have a moment where, man, they can have a square jaw, hold their head high, and sharing this moment together. That is, it's priceless to me, and I know it's a byproduct. I'm proud of the players that they could be a part of allowing people to experience that through their hard work, their belief, their sacrifice, their laying it on the line for one another. That's a really cool thing.
We got about 2 minutes here. What are 2 or 3 or 4 of the most important things? What are the biggest keys to you winning this football game?
Yeah, I mean, we've 100% you got to win the turnover margin. You can't give this offense short fields or, you know, additional possessions. They're as efficient as it gets as it is. So winning that, being, again, the most physical football team, and then be who we are when it comes to our special teams. And there's, you know, the opportunity to outstrain and outfight and outcompete. Having a bad case of the wants, I think that's incredibly important. But there's a timing mechanism. There's 11 guys being on the same page when it comes to that. You know, I think creating the big plays in the special teams, it proved right the last time we played, and I think it'll prove right again. Whether it's a miscue on their behalf or, you know, making a big play on our side. You know, defensively, again, you know, my expectation is we're going to be a better version of, you know, when we played them the last time. And when I started our meeting on Monday with the team, you know, I affirmed them. Here's all the great things that we did to win the game, okay, last time we played. I just wanted to make sure that everybody had the right perspective. And then I try to get them to understand the perspective of the opponent that we're playing, you know, who had a great year, who just got, you know, dealt a tough loss in the SEC championship, and we've all been there. You know, I've been at my best as a leader, as a competitor, after getting drugged through the mud. And so they're going to have a great edge to them. I think it's always important to understand their mindset. So don't get it twisted any other kind of way. And then, you know, we did some great things in the game, but I love the result of the game when we played them last, obviously, but I don't love how we won. And so, you know, and so that was the message to the team, and I got into the nuts and bolts of how we won or how we played. And so there's plenty of places where we need and are capable of playing better, and we're going to need to. That's my expectation, is that we have to play better than what we played.
Can't wait. 7 o'clock on Friday, Oklahoma and Alabama in the college football playoff. Go get them,
Thank
Coach.
You. Yeah,
and thanks you folks for watching the OU postseason preview. Enjoy the game, everybody. Boomer Sooner.